Welcome back to the channel, you guys! I am very excited because today's video is about a product that I had been wanting to get. Actually, let me explain this to you because it's a little, you have to like understand the wonkiness with Natasha Denona and like putting out these palettes. So there are certain palettes from Natasha Denona that get discontinued and then apparently, at least last year and this year, they kind of like weirdly randomly came back. They were like restocked with no like real announcement. So last year I saw that a bunch of these old palettes, these discontinued palettes, came back on the Natasha Denona website. And I was like, oh, that's like pretty cool, right? But like, who has the money? I kind of convinced myself like, oh, I don't need it. I don't want it. There's no reason for me to spend all that money on those big palettes. But then, I don't know. I was thinking about the Lila palette. Of all the palettes that were brought back, I just was vibing more with the Lila palette. And so I was thinking about it and I was like, oh, do I want it? I started watching all these videos on YouTube about it and like, they were mostly like old videos and like people doing looks and things with the palette when it like kind of first came out. I don't know, I'm like wigging about my hair, please forgive me. But eventually I was like, you know what? Maybe it's worth the $129 because these things were brought back in a way that they didn't coincide with any sale or anything. So I'd have to buy them at full price. But by the time I decided, okay, maybe it'll be worth it, I wasn't 100% decided, but by the time I was like, I think it might be worth it, it was too late because it was sold out. I think they were all sold out by the time I actually decided like, oh, maybe I'll actually get it. I didn't realize how limited the restock was actually going to be. So then a lot of time went by and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed it. And I said to myself, like, if I ever see that come back again, if she restocks them next year or whatever, I think I'm going to get that palette. Like, even if it's $129, like, I'm just going to get it. Then kind of recently, Natasha Denona posted on their Instagram a picture with like a bunch of different palettes, and one of them was the Lila palette, and I was like, oh gosh, look at that beautiful thing. And I commented like, if you ever bring back the Lila palette, I'm gonna get it because I missed it last time. So I'm gonna make sure that I get it this time. And they sent me that emoji that's like the little like knowing smirk, the little, you know, the little you know, that one. So I saw that and I was like, oh my god, does that mean that they're gonna bring it back? But obviously, like, I had no idea if or when they would be bringing it back. So I was just like nervously, anxiously waiting to see if they would. And then a little while later, unrelated, I got an email from Natasha Denona saying like, oh, where have you been? Come back. Here's 20% off. I was like, okay, that's pretty sick. I'm going to save that. I'm not going to spend that right away, right? In the back of my mind, I was like, if Lila comes back, might be nice to have 20% off. And then I saw somebody post on YouTube on their, you know, community tab thing, whatever, just like a post, not a video or anything. They posted that the gold palette was back in stock. The gold is one of the ones that, like Lila, gets discontinued and then comes back. So, I mean, surprise, surprise, I made the completely insane decision to not only get my Lila, but also the gold palette. This bad boy will be back. I'm definitely going to use it on the channel, but not the focus of today's video. The reason I decided to get both Lila and the gold palette is because I just didn't want to regret not having gotten the gold palette. People rave about the gold palette. They love the gold palette. I've heard so many good things about the gold palette. And so I decided, you know what? I have this 20% off thing. I'm going to get both. And so here it is, the beautiful Lila. This is what I am wearing on my eyes right now. This is the first look that I'm going to show you guys. Tomorrow I'm going to film the second look. I don't know what it's going to be though. I haven't quite decided yet. I'm thinking I might do these more cool tone purples, but I also really want to do something with this red. I don't know. I guess you'll see in the second half of the video. That'll be a big surprise for you guys. But yeah, I finally have it, and I don't know, I guess no regrets. I used Afterpay, so I'm doing like a payment every couple of weeks, which also helps. But what do you guys think? Do you think I'm a complete moron for buying these two palettes? I might be. Well, anyway, if this palette is still around, I know the gold palette is already sold out. I was on Natasha Denona's website this morning and I saw that the gold palette was sold out. But if this one is still around, check it out. It's a beautiful palette, beautiful color story, and it's not always available. And if you're looking for inspiration, maybe some opinions, stick around because I'm going to be doing two looks. And at the end of the video, I'll kind of give you my first impressions on the palette. So let's jump into the first look. Okay, so before I get into doing the look with this beautiful palette, I wanted to just open it up and show you the shades untouched, unspoiled. And I wanted to talk just a little bit about what shades I am the most excited for. I mean, obviously this gorgeous, intense, like hot pink, like actually more magenta sort of a shade in the middle there. This one here that's like a beautiful duochrome. These two really gorgeous purples. I mean, even this one too, like this whole column. Super excited for the bright colors there, but I'm also very excited for these reds. If you know my taste in eyeshadow, you know that I love reds, I love pinks, I love purples. So very excited for this palette. Today I'm going to be doing a pink look, or should I say like a magenta look. So let's get into that. I'm going to speed through the process of applying the makeup, and then at the end I will tell you what I did. Okay, folks, so we are definitely smoked out here. This is definitely a very dramatic look, very evening wear, but let's talk about what I did. So to start, I took this shade here, this one called Nude Vino, and I took that right through the crease, kind of blended it upwards, and then I took this more red shade called Amara, which I think is also in the retro palette, and I took that into the crease. It's quite a bit darker actually, kind of blended that out. And then on the outer corner I took this shimmer shade called Pure I don't know what it's called, but it's this one. And I kind of, they're gone now, but I did take swatches of these two shades, just to, this one and this one, just to see like which one was deeper. And Pure whatever was definitely the deeper shade, so I put that on the outer corner here. And then I took this gorgeous magenta called Magnetic and put it on the whole rest of the lid. Then I went in with Nude Vino again and brought it across the lower lash line, and then I kind of like broke my biggest rule and I kind of over smoked the lower lash line. I was very naughty and I over smoked the lower lash line. My eyes, I've talked about this before, but my eyes are really big, and this lower like lid here, I mean lower lid, like whatever you would call this, kind of, it looks like a big ugly bag, right? But it's literally just because my eyes are so big. Like that's my eye. That's not a bag. That's just my eye. It's just my eye, you guys. So I don't normally like to smoke things out too much down there because when I make it dark, I look like a zombie. But I don't know. I think I kind of made it work. Did I make it work? What do you think? I don't know. I'm always self-conscious about it, so I'm probably not the best judge of whether or not I actually made it work. I don't know what's happening with this eyebrow here. What is that? Anyway, so then it looked a little bottom heavy, right? It was like kind of smoked out on the bottom, and I needed it to be more smoked out on the top. So I decided to grab this shade here because it's a little bit lighter, but still kind of keeps in this somewhat kind of, I guess you would call it taupe. We'll call it taupe. It kind of stays within that realm. That is nude mauve. So I took that one and just kind of blended it up a little more. And then in the inner corner, I used obviously this gorgeous shade here called Juno. Took that in there, pulled it in. Actually, I think I did the inner corner first before I added that other shade. But I put the shade Juno in the inner corner, and then I also took it along like the brow bone there and just highlighted. And I like to do that sometimes because it also kind of makes things look smoother. You know, I don't know. Do you think it like makes it look smoother? I don't know. But so yeah, that's look number one. I think it's super fun. I hope that you enjoyed it. Now let's move on to look number two. Okay, folks, so day two, look two, I'm going to be doing, I think, a more cool toned eye look today using the cooler purples here. Again, going to kind of blow through it. I'm going to try to keep this one, you know, the one yesterday was rather smoky. I actually thought about it as I was editing the first part of this video. I feel like I could have benefited from like mascara or something because the look was so smoky, and I feel like mascara would have helped. But today, we're gonna try to not go that intense. So let's just see what happens. Okay, folks, so this is look number two. Don't mind my hand. I was doing a lot of swatching and I'm just a mess now, but I mean, is it still super smoky? It's probably not as smoky as the one that I did yesterday, but still kind of smoky, still kind of wild. I feel super rushed today, as per usual. So hopefully it's adequate. I don't know. I feel like I wish that I had more time, but I literally don't have any time at all. Like, not at all. But anyway, I'll tell you what I did. I used this shade up here. This was the only matte that I didn't use in the last look. I took it out here in the outer corner of the lid, kind of smoked it out just a little bit on the edge here and dragged it a little bit through the crease. Did that on both sides. I mean, obviously, why would I do it on just one? Then I went in with this shade down here, kind of covered the outer part of the lid with that. Then on the middle center part of the lid, I used this very blue shade, like very blue purple shade. And then I went in on the inner corner with this bright highlight shade like I did yesterday. And then I took the same matte that I used earlier and I ran it along the lower lash line. So pretty simple, right? Pretty easy. Do you like it? So first impressions for this palette. I'm going to do this real quick because like I said, don't have a lot of time, but I definitely wish that there was something just a little bit more sparkly to put on the center lid, you know, to make that kind of sparkly highlight in the center of the eye. But I do really enjoy the shades that are in here. I did notice that everything is pretty dark, right? Like if you have dark skin, this is probably such an ideal palette. But on me, it definitely gives it's a very cool tone palette, which I don't mind at all. I like cool tones, but it takes a little bit more work sometimes to make cool tones work for me. But I mean, I like this look. I think that it's delightful. I think it makes my eyes pop. These cool tones look really good with my brown eyes. I can't wait. I'm definitely going to do a look with like these more red shades, maybe even this kind of golden one. I'm going to play around with this palette more. Definitely expect some of that on my Instagram. But yeah, first impressions, very dark palette. No major like center lid sparkly shade, but that's totally fine. I could dip into any other thing. I actually thought about maybe taking my highlighter that I use. I have a Kaleidos highlighter on and just tapping that on the center, but I was like, no, let's just keep it to the palette for the purpose of the video. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful shadows. They blend out like Natasha Denona shadows, gorgeous as always. And yeah, I'm definitely glad that I have this palette. It's probably not going to be like an all the time kind of a palette, but I definitely want to pull this bad boy out around Halloween time too. Like, how perfect is this color story for Halloween time? This one and Trio Chrome. Those are going to be my Halloween palettes. If you're interested in the palette, you can check Natasha Denona's website and see if it's still around. Like I said, the gold is sold out already, but this one might not be, so. And yeah, am I happy that I have it? Absolutely. I think it's so beautiful, and I'm definitely intending to have a lot more fun with it in the future. One last look before we close out the video. There's the beautiful palette. Okay, I hope I didn't forget to say anything. I hate being rushed. But yeah, that's it for the video. I will be seeing you guys again on Sunday. If you're new here, I do post every Sunday and every Wednesday, so make sure you subscribe. I really want to add to that schedule, but I don't have time. Lately I've been wanting so badly to record more videos. I have so many palettes and I just want to play with them all. But who the hell has time? I work a full-time job. I don't even have time to do this. Gosh. But anyway, I hope that you have a great week, and I will be seeing you on Sunday. Peace.